Okay. All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mark, why don't you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I have a flag.
Stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
of the United States
of America
and
to the
and to the
republic
republic
for
for
which
which it stands, one
one
nation, under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Okay, why don't we start with our agenda review, I'm sorry, the approval of minutes.
I move that the minutes be accepted as documented.
I have one small change.
Okay,
Page 2, item 10, paragraph B. It says Valley Vista Voice. It's actually Valley Vista Neighbors.
Valley, oh, you're right. And I even have it right here.
Ah,
All right.
I will make that
So
change.
with that little change, I'm happy to second the amendment.
okay, all in favor?
I'll do a roll call. Rosemary Allison,
Aye.
Mark Burley,
Aye.
Kevin Cannon,
Aye.
Amy Elliott,
Aye.
Mark Roddy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go through the agenda review.
Okay. I can pull up the agenda if you'd like.
Hey, Vanny, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
My reception isn't good, so if my car is loud, just mute me because I can't even get to mute myself. So.
Oh, yeah. Don't touch. I'll do that.
Okay, cool.
I don't hear it right now, but if it does, I'll mute you, and you can just wave at me if you need me to unmute you. I want to make it as easy as possible for you.
Thanks.
Are we going to have, it seems to me there was some talk about our next cleanup day. Is that in 7A?
No, but I can, no. It's a
Okay.
different program.
All right.
So,
Okay.
and if there are no changes, okay.
I can hear it, but I can't.
I have no changes.
No changes.
Okay.
All right. Our public safety reports, please. Who do we have here?
Well, good evening. You have Mike Logie, Lieutenant out of the CHP Moore Park area office. How are you?
Good.
Aye.
Good. All right. So I guess I'll go first. If the SO is also here since I'm on the line. Let's start with the collisions. So since September 1st, we've had 3 minor collisions in the Santa Rosa Valley. 2 of them had to do with speed, and 1 was a driving while impaired. So not unusual for the area. However, obviously a nice time to remind folks to drive carefully, especially with the holidays coming, especially with impaired driving. It's okay to celebrate, but let's drive responsibly and let's drive safely while we're out there. Regarding traffic complaints and issues regarding parking and other things of that nature, it's been relatively quiet from the Santa Rosa Valley. We continue to take calls and happily respond to try and resolve all those issues as they arise. I would like to put a plug in for the holiday season right now as far as vehicle safety, etc. Obviously, this is a time for shopping and doing things for others, but we want to make sure that our vehicles remain safe and our items remain in our possession. So remember to lock your doors, remove possessions from plain sight in your vehicle, make sure your vehicles are in proper operating conditions for the rain and etc. so they can perform as designed. And finally, I would like to just add, we have a new commissioner for the California Highway Patrol, which is the commissioner's the top person for the whole state. And her name is Amanda Ray, Commissioner Amanda Ray. And that is of significance because she's the first female African-American woman appointed to the position in our storied history. So we're very proud and anticipate great things to come from her. Other than that, that's all I have, unless somebody has a question for me.
No questions?
Not from me. Thank you, though.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate all that you do.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And if that closes it out, everybody have a safe holiday, and we'll see you next time, or talk to you next time.
Happy
Yeah.
holidays.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Any other people for the public safety reports?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Action item 6A, report back on the Santa Rosa #2 debris-based decommission project.
So Peter, and I believe I allowed you to share.
Okay, let me try.
It's Peter. They're talking about the decommission.
Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
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 Okay, so good evening, everybody. My name is Peter Shade. I've met with you twice over the last few years on this project, so hopefully some of you recognize me. I am a Deputy Director managing the Design and Construction Division of Ventura County Public Works Agency's Watershed Protection Department. There were a few questions that came up recently about the project, and Venice asked me if I could come and talk about some of those concerns. But I thought it also would be a good opportunity to update everybody on kind of how the project's going and what we have left to do. So, so here's a general schedule. Can you all hear me, by the way?
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
So here's a general schedule of what we have. When I met with you the last couple of times, you know, this was a lot less certain. What typically happens on our capital projects is that, you know, we go through some preliminary design and we go through some CEQA compliance, and then we go through some final design and we get some permits, and all of those processes are a little uncertain on how the timing will work. But once we get into construction, the schedules are a bit more secure. So here's where we've been. We did some tree removal last January for about a week, January 31st to February 6th, and then there was a lag while we bid out the overall dam removal project. The reason that we separated the tree removal from dam removal is that by the end of February, birds start nesting, and it can cause significant delays with construction if we have trees that are slated for removal, but that have birds nesting. We have to comply with Migratory Bird Act requirements, and all those are usually embedded also in the permits that we have. So to mitigate that, we removed the trees, and then May 5th we started the dam removal, and that went on all the way till October 19th. So if any of you live in this neighborhood, I'm sure you heard some noise and saw some activity going on related to that. We started right after that, October 22nd, beginning our what we call phase 2, which is replanting the site and establishing those plants. So from October 22nd through March 12th, we're going to be working on installing an irrigation system and then planting with container stock and live woody cuttings to plant those plants. So, and then after March 12th, we'll begin plant establishment. That will run for just about 2 years. And the plant establishment basically is just to ensure that all the plants that were planted survive and are thriving, and those plants will then be in good shape to continue on into the future. So, so here's the site, kind of a before and after, right where the dam was. You can see this is before all the trees that were removed were removed. I believe all of them were non-native pepper trees, and the pepper trees were removed, as I indicated, at the end of January into early February. And there were about 6 trees removed on the south side of the dam, or south side of the channel. I guess actually it's the east side of the dam. And then about 8 trees were removed from the west side of the dam. And some of those trees on the north side or the west side were multi-stem or multi-trunk. But so on the right-hand side, you can see what it looks like with the dam gone. And I'll explain a little more about what you're seeing in this photo as this goes on.
I wish I could see it.
So you can see there's in the left, that's the lower part of the picture. It's part of the dam structure. It was a spillway to evacuate water under flood events. And then on the right-hand side, what you're seeing in the light brown, tan brown color is actually an erosion control blanket. It's a biodegradable coconut fiber jute, but it's there to protect from erosion until the plantings really take hold and establish and are able to help protect the channel from erosion. This is on the left. This is the entrance from the horse trail that runs parallel to Santa Rosa Road. We can talk, I guess, discuss this in more detail in a minute, but this gate is an 8-foot wide gate. The right-hand photo is a photo that shows the area. I don't know, can you guys see my cursor if I move it?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you come up this ramp, you kind of end up right here on the left-hand side of the photo. And part of the project was extending the box culvert that runs underneath Santa Rosa Road in order to provide a way for the trail to get to the east side of the channel. So you can see that the trail can run now across the box away from Santa Rosa Road, and then it will run up the channel on this lower access road. And this is a couple of photos. This is looking on the right-hand side. It's looking right at the beginning of that trail. So this trail is decomposed granite trail, and on the left side, it's looking kind of the opposite way towards Santa Rosa Road. And then here's some, for an engineer, here are the fun photos, all the construction activity going on, all the heavy equipment moving material.
Not sure.
This photo shows that work. You can see that the box was extended upstream in order to provide that pathway for the trail, and then the transition was reconstructed, which is what's in this middle photo here. But you can see all the concrete and steel that goes into that effort to provide a safe way for pedestrians and horses to get across the channel without causing any water quality impacts. into the creek. And these are some final photos of just the project, very similar to what you've already seen earlier. So, so the next phase that we're currently working on is the vegetation replanting. Here's a schematic that shows that. I posted the whole thing in this PowerPoint because I can get out of the slideshow and I can zoom in on plant varieties and the planting where they're located. This plan was provided to the HOA, and I think Mark Burley as well for review. This is a plan that really hasn't changed over the last 9 months or so. And this is just some of the early work that's gone on so far. So with our landscape architect, Jordan Gilbert Bain out of Ventura, they designed an irrigation system that will be in place for 2 years. And we found a water connection that goes down an HOA easement to access the site. And so far what's really been focused mainly on getting the irrigation in place. And that's pretty much all I've got. Now, there were a couple of issues, and I know that, Mark, you'll want to discuss them. So I'll back up to the slide that shows that. I did want to let the MAC know because I think that it's a significant investment the district has made. The investment that Watershed Protection agreed to do has essentially been about 30% of the project cost. The construction cost has gone to improvements related to the trail. So extending the box and redoing the transition was about, just for the concrete and steel, and that's not all the cost because there's excavation and backfill and so on. I didn't go into that kind of detail. It was about $165,000, and the decomposed granite that runs along this trail all the way up and joins at the upstream end was about $21,000. The gate here, we originally had it designed, and this was a gate that was this was a design that was presented at HOA and they reviewed it, but the gate was only 4 feet wide, and I think we just all missed it. And Mark, I think you went out one day and took a look at it and said, "Hey, that's not going to work for us." So we looked at it, we considered it, we agreed with Mark that wasn't wide enough. So the project manager, Salvador Diaz-Rubin, and I talked, and we met with our director, and we issued a $4,000 change order and widened that to 8 foot, which it complies with the Santa Rosa Trail Master Plan guidance document on the width of those gates. So that was installed in place. Mark, I don't know if you've been out and looked at it.
Yeah, I have.
There also was a question about this ramp. Now, this ramp was an existing ramp. This wasn't anything that we worked on as part of the project, but it is very steep. It's about 20% slope, and Mark, you brought up that you thought that that should be dealt with and corrected. And we looked at it and we agree. We think that this ramp for the trail should be ADA compliant, which is a maximum of about 5% slope. And so we had one of our design engineers take a look at it. Unfortunately, and you can see it here, there's a road, access road kind of on both sides. There's one that runs up here, and there's the new decomposed granite trail system, but there's also a road on this side. And so what's needed is about 70 feet or so to get to that 5% ADA trail. And there is a little bit of room here that would have been on the district's right of way, but it wouldn't have been anywhere close. It's only about 20 feet. And we were concerned that you end up sort of cutting in a ramp here next to the new box culvert, and you end up making it really difficult to get equipment back over to this road that runs up along the west side. So when we looked at it, we felt really the best solution was to extend the ramp westward along this private property owner. It may very well be able to be done within the HOA's easement. I don't know if that easement would allow them to do that work. But given, and I detailed it a few minutes ago, given all the investment that watershed protection has already put into the project, as I said, about 30% of the construction was working for components just for the trail, that I believe that, the HOA, could really help resolve this. One of the problems that we have is we don't have rights of way beyond the fence. So, so legally we can't actually do work outside of our rights of way. We can't do work on private property. We can't put public dollars on private property. So, so there's some issues with that. But beyond that, I would say that this was an existing condition that if the HOA were interested in resolving it, it would have to go west of the watershed protections easement. So so that was my first take on it. And so we didn't do anything during construction. Of course, this was also brought to our attention very late in construction. Our contractor was pretty much wrapping up by the time we became aware of it. We actually held the fence contractor off for a couple of weeks while we resolved what to do about that gate. And so, but they were very good about that. And I think the gate will work very nicely where it is. So with that, that's my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions. We can certainly discuss the issues, Mark, that you brought up in your email. But that's kind of a summary of where we are. So hopefully by the end of this coming March, you all be able to go and see the plantings that were installed. And, within 2 years, we'll see some real improvement to the visual aesthetics of the channel as that vegetation grows.
Thank you for your presentation. I think
Yes.
that's excellent. Yes, I have been out there a couple of times, and the first thing I will say is that this project is looking fantastic. The equestrian trail is as good as any equestrian trail in the valley, with the proviso of the discussion about this entrance on the west side. So I mean, it looks amazing, and I can't wait to see what it looks like with all the planting in there. I think it's going to be, it's going to be like a park. So it's a beautiful area. I think what was done with the extension at the beginning to get the trail to go over, it was a brilliant idea, which I wish I'd come up with it myself at the beginning. It looks great. I just want to make sure that Vicky, you're in. You can hear all of everything
Yes.
that's going on.
Yes,
Very
I'm
good.
on. I don't know. I don't have any visual.
That's okay. As long as you can hear, that's fine.
I can hear.
Except you can't. I mean, you've seen all of this. So
Right. I've been
Yeah.
over there.
yeah, Peter, I sort of agree with you. I think that the solution to fixing the trail that's going out on the west side is not to dig into what you've done, but to extend it out further west. I agree with that. I have done a lot of trail work, and I understand the difference between ADA and normal trail slopes. So you're saying this is about a 20% slope, which I haven't measured it, but yeah, that seems right. Normally, for those of us who work on trails, the trails are designed with a maximum of 10% slope for horses and bicyclists and walkers as well. So the question becomes, does this now need to be ADA compliant? And I know I ran into this issue when we built the bridge across over near on East Las Posas. So either way, I think the trail needs to be extended out, and we can discuss whether it needs to be ADA compliant or whether it needs to be, a 10% slope. Then I guess the next issue is the question of then who pays for it. Either way, I am a little bit concerned, Peter, that once we've extended the trail at a lower slope, that will require some reworking on the fencing there, because it's now going to be at a higher place. Would you agree that that's maybe an issue?
Yeah. The fencing, the fencing material and the gates, that they'll be able to be salvaged, but when that work is done, the posts will need to be removed and raised. I mean, it's a possibility that that a pipe could be welded to the top a couple of feet
Right.
higher. But the easiest thing is probably just to remove the post that's there and put a new post in.
So now the question becomes, is this an issue? Who pays for it? And I mean, I think, Vicky, I'd like you to talk and give you a feeling about what the solution to this is, and whether you sort of feel that the solution is to lessen the slope, but it's going down now beyond the WPD area. Would you think that is a solution?
I think it would be. That's an equestrian easement there, even though the haulers, of course, own the property, but it's, designated as a foliage or equestrian easement. But I don't know who would pay for this. I don't know how much it would cost and how we go about it. But I would think, yes, it could extend westward, and there seems to be plenty of room there.
Yeah, there does seem to be plenty of room there. Well, given how great everything else is, it would be a shame not to fix this. And, the question is,
Right.
How do we fix it, and what is the cost involved? And also, what is the cost involved if the government's doing it, and what is the cost involved if it's done privately? Well, it seems like there must be a mix of both of those things, because we know we have to redo the fence if we do this, right?
Right. Definitely. And that asphalt or rubbered asphalt that was put down, that a little bit concerns me for horses because it might be slippery.
I'm not familiar with where that is.
What it is, what they've put on the top. I don't know how it's going to be when it gets wet. Are you familiar with that, Mark?
What they seem to have put on that on the slope that's going out to the west now.
Right.
That it seems to be some kind of a road. It's a road base, as far as I can tell. So
right.
And it will not have a problem, as far as my experience is, in wet. It does tend, the horses do tend to sort of dig into it a little bit, but if you're familiar with the corner of East Las Posas and Santa Rosa Road, when you come down from, if you're going south and you're going down East Las Posas and go down south onto that trail, that's a road-based trail, and it's worked fine in all weather conditions.
Okay. Well, that's good. I wanted to know if you, that was the one thing I hadn't asked you, so,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Peter, do you have a suggestion about how we should move forward with this?
Well, and as I've indicated, and of course, I don't make all these decisions. All these questions, can be, pushed up to executive management. I'm really a middle management level staff person. But my gut feeling is, and my recommendation would be, this was an existing condition. The project didn't modify it. This is a access that's been used for the trail for probably a couple of decades in this condition. It does look like it needs improvement. I would agree that it would be a shame to not improve it. But I think that, in my opinion, would be that this would be a good candidate for a future improvement by the HOA or by some other equestrian focus group in the watershed. We have a few steps to go through for the trail to be activated. The HOA needs to acquire an easement from the landowner, and then we need to issue them a permit in order to use our easement. So even though they'll have an easement from the underlying fee owner, it also will go through our easement. So there's a few steps before it officially can be used as the trail. I know that I expect that people are already using it because the gates have been left open. And then
They're closed
Closed
right
at the
now.
moment, we believe.
oh, they're closed right now
They're
because
locked.
of the irrigation.
They're locked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's because they're doing the irrigation work. But then the time that the HOA or someone else wants to do work on this trail and make an improvement, they would have to come in and talk to Sergio Vargas, who I know you, Mark, who you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And because there needs to be a permit to modify this facility, which I don't expect to be a big thing. And frankly, there's always, seems like there's always dirt that's becomes available that could be used to fill this in. Just have to wait for the right time. Somebody that's trying to get rid of dirt sometimes will haul it over to you to drop it off. So it doesn't seem like a lot of work, in my opinion, after we finish the project. But I completely understand the concern about wanting to see it improve from the way it's been the last 20 years.
Okay, well, maybe we should all do a little research into what we think it will cost. Obviously, from the HOA's, I'll speak for Vicky. From the HOA's point of view, they would prefer if this was done by Watershed Protection District and they didn't have any financial involvement in it. So I'm going to suggest we maybe ask you to go to your bosses and find out if there's a way that they can figure this. I will assume that the HOA will allow you to extend, the work beyond the edge onto the easement that they own. Would that be correct, Vicky?
Yes.
Well, right now,
why don't you get back to us and let us know if that's a possibility?
Yeah, right now we're not able to do that, Mark, because we're not able to legally spend public dollars on private property. So, we did quite a bit of work to improve the condition on the trail within our easement, but this would have to be outside of our easement.
All right. And I'm going to suggest at the same time, the HOA gets a bid on, it's sort of weird because you'd have to do the beginning bit that's like on the east side of that gate, and the HOA would have to do the piece that's on the west side of the gate. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I think we would just give them a permit to do all of it.
All right. Well, I'm going to suggest the HOA gets a bid on what it would cost. And, you know, Vicky, it was just regular dirt before, and dirt is like one of the great things for horses anyway. And I know it's wet, you know, when it gets wet, but then when it gets wet, the whole trail is not usable anyway. So it would be good if we could get and I can help you, Vicky, on this, get a bid on, you know, fixing this with the proviso that the Watershed Protection District would need to then fix the gates and the fence in that area. Does that seem like
Would you be willing, would that be something the watershed can do? Fixing the gate and the fence?
Well, I can mention it to Glenn Shepard, our director, and get back to you on that.
right? That's something
guess-
you can get back to.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
great.
I just want to say, see, before you came in and did the project, it was much flatter there. So we never had a problem really with horses going up and coming down. It was a smooth transition. But now there's very much a steep slope.
Yeah, and my understanding is that we didn't modify this, but so I'll have to look into that.
Okay.
Well, something was done. because it's
Either
much
way, we know
higher now.
we have a solution to move forward rather than,
Okay.
but, all right. Well, first of all, thank you for being, you know, open and understanding about the fact that this little area is just like a little hiccup in the what is seemingly a wonderful project.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Great. Well, I'm glad everybody likes, you know, sans this one area, how it's come out, because I know staff worked very hard and continue to work hard. So we're glad that you like it.
Thank them for us.
Right. It's really, really nice. We had it locked because people on the weekends were bringing their horses over there. And I think from Hidden Meadows, they were coming across and just like walking them down the trail. So we had to.
You can't trust
spoke to
people from
Kirk
Hidden
and
Meadows.
he locked it. Well, I don't know. I checked around. It wasn't Bridlewood. So
Okay.
that's why we had it locked.
It's probably smart at this point until we get it all resolved.
Hmm.
Much as I would like to ride down there, I have been resisting it.
Yeah, it's really nice. It was, yeah, when I've been over there.
All right. All right. Let's just.
But thank you.
Let's discuss it at another meeting, and Vicky, you and I will touch base on this.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions before I log off?
Yeah, Peter, I'm having the attorney right now work on it, and it was surveyed. Is it still being, what is it called right now? Because that was a question put forward to me. I mean, is it an inundation easement or what at this point?
The easement
The
that you
attorney's asked me that.
the easement that
Do
you
you know? Pardon?
the easement that you need?
Yeah, she was asking me yesterday what the term, because at one point it was being, you were thinking about calling it an inundation easement. Is that the term you're going to use? Or?
Well, right now we have a flood control easement. There may be a point in the future where we're able to hand over the property to the underlying fee and just retain an inundation easement, which would relieve us of ongoing maintenance. That would also give the landowners the ability to plant, orchard trees above the trail and that kind of thing. But at this point, we have a flood control easement through the dam and old basin area.
Okay.
And I think your easement would be, an equestrian / trail maintenance easement, so that you guys could do whatever work you needed to do, and you could use it the way for the purposes of the equestrian trail. And that way, regardless of what easement that the district has, that you would retain an easement to use that and be able to do whatever improvements were needed in the future.
Right, maintain it. Okay.
Vicky, I would just
All right.
add,
Well, thank you.
Vicky,
Uh-huh.
I
Yes.
would just add that you should make it a multi-use, non-motorized trail. When you start to use equestrian trail, there have been in the past cases where people have tried to stop people from using bicycles and or walking on it. So,
Okay.
so multi-use, non-motorized recreational trail or just trail.
Do you
Okay.
have an example of that, Mark, that you could give?
I do. I have actually have easements from Santa Rosa Valley Trails Inc. that I have sent to Vicky in the past that include that kind of wording, but it's just one or two times in this valley there's been issues where people have said it's an equestrian trail and you can't walk on it. So that's why I'm suggesting that wording.
Okay. I will tell the attorney that then.
Yeah, and if you need to
All right.
talk to me again, we can talk again, Vicky.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Well, I think that's it.
Thank you,
Great.
Peter.
Peter, thanks so much.
Okay,
Thank
thank you
you
very
so
much.
Thank you for your,
Contact me if you need anything else from me.
on behalf of the MAC, we
Okay.
want to thank you for your diligent work on our behalf. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that it's been so well received. It's initially it was a little rough going. There was a lot of concern, but I think that the outcome.
People don't like change.
That's it. That's it. In fact, it's funny because I said to somebody, I said, if we came in and said we were building a dam, there would be equally amount of
We just-
criticism. But when we came in and said we're going to remove a dam, it was funny.
Yes.
People were equally as critical or concerned. So, but in the end, I think it came out good. So thank you very much. And thank you for your support the last few years.
Thank you for your
Sure.
service.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Peter.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming, Peter.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Have a good night.
Okay,
Bye.
going on to action item 6B. Our recommendation regarding the Santa Rosa Valley Community Survey, which I think looks great.
Let me pull it up for you guys.
Okay. You can put mine to sleep.
That way, now I can make changes to it, I think, in real time. So,
Mhm.
alrighty.
Can you scroll it up?
Yeah, so here I'm at, just let me know where you want me to go.
I'd like to talk about question 3.
Okay, there you go.
Two things. First of all, I don't understand the water element here. What is being asked? What is the concern about water? Is it quality, availability, cost? I think there needs to be some additional definition around that. And the second thing is, this would be an excellent place for people to throw out proposals for improving any of the elements that they feel are their biggest concern. So I would suggest that we add a comment section just below question 3.
We have a comment section at the end, right? Let me just remind myself, because now I don't have control over it. The very
Yeah.
end, what does it say?
Are there any other comments you'd like to provide on ways to improve services and
Services or
facilities?
facilities? Do you feel that, Mark, that that's covering what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I think that if you are talking about your biggest concerns, that while they're focused on that, you have an opportunity to say, okay, what are your proposals to change, or how do you think it could be changed? The last question is very open-ended, and I'm not sure people would relate back to question 3. So I
Okay.
put forward to the other members that I think that adding an additional comment section right here might help generate some ideas that would be useful.
Right here.
And again, the issue with water, I'm not sure what you're asking. Am I concerned about water? Do I have enough? Is that the question we're asking? I understand all the other elements, but water is one that I think needs to be expanded upon, or having some additional adjectives or something
So
out there.
maybe we want to say something like water quality and or availability. Is that something that makes sense?
Since this is like 1 to 10, prioritize, you're supposed to prioritize, I guess, 1 being your greatest.
Oh, so it can only be one thing at a time.
Well, I mean, I can add water quality, water, and then a different line, water availability, or, you know what I mean? I can separate it out.
Or realistically cost.
Or cost, I mean, you know what I mean? I can add another
What
line
does
here.
anybody else think?
Or take water out totally.
Oh,
I
No,
mean,
no.
water is outside of our control.
It's definitely outside of our purview.
No,
So,
not true, Mark. Because Cam Rosa can come to the community. At times, they have come to our MAC meeting explaining different things. So it's quite often a topic at the MAC meeting. And we have residents that are very concerned about all 3 of those things: cost, availability, and quality.
so I can
So
make them
I
each
agree
their
with-
own, if you like. So you would go,
Well, I think that the biggest issue that is, in the old days, we used to have the ag rates and then they took them away. But that was because of metropolitan water, and that was outside of our control.
Yeah, why limit it?
Kevin?
Why limit it to things that are only in our control? I mean,
why is my internet unstable?
or just put water and then a line, and then say, please define water cost, water availability, water quality,
Yeah,
so that you don't have to put water, water, water.
yeah.
Well, how would you then prioritize if it's, one might be more of a priority than other amongst all these other issues?
Well, if, for example, for me, water quality certainly comes ahead of noise. So if I'm going to say it's water quality would be number 1, I could write in 1 by water and then write in the word quality.
Oh, I
after
see.
it.
So you're saying do something like this.
Just put a blank.
Quality, cost, what was it, availability?
Yes,
Something like that?
perfect. And then they can check that as it is.
Okay. And then I can just put check all that
Yeah.
apply.
All that apply, yeah.
So they're still labeling it. And then did you want me to do another, do you have any suggestions here, or do you want to wait until the end, or?
Me? I have a question on number 4.
Well, no, I just mean, because you had mentioned doing something like this here at the end, but putting it up.
It
Here.
seems weird to me to have
If-
that twice. I think, we have a good ending where people can say whatever they want. But are you happy with number 3 now, Mark?
Yes.
Great, let's move on.
Okay.
Number 4, what is platooning?
That's where
Platooning. Go ahead.
platooning is where the cars, due to our traffic signals, are in groups so that the people trying to get out of side streets will have a little bit of an opportunity to turn left or right even. Prior to us having those traffic signals, we had a steady flow of traffic, making it impossible for people to leave their streets if they didn't have a light.
I'm very familiar with the issue, yes.
I can.
I bet you are.
Yeah,
I
that's,
can,
I just
that might
don't
not be a term that everybody, I know it because of the Mac. Might not be a term everybody knows. So.
I think Mark makes a good point that
Yes.
probably 75, 80, 90% of the people will
don't know
not
what
understand what platooning is. It's only those of us who've been on the Mac and spent 10,
Yes.
20 years dealing with this that understand that.
So I can,
put signalization issues. Do you have enough time?
Breaks in traffic.
breaks.
Breaks in
Okay.
traffic is basically another way of saying platooning. Am I right?
Yes, that sounds much better.
Okay, and underneath where you say, can you list particular areas? Can we also add and times where you notice it most?
I'll fix that. Particular areas and times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yes. That's
I'll
great.
work on spacing and formatting later, just as long as I
Sure.
get the wording properly. So can you list particular areas and times where you notice it most?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
Number 5. I remember the CHP presentation on this when they were talking about dangerous drivers, etc. And one of the key things that they talked about was needing a license number. So I think that perhaps we should say, give them time of day, location, and license number so that they can track down the offender. I had an incident that happened right outside of Santa Rosa Highlands. And the CHP called me and
Fixed
asked me-
license.
Oh,
Fixed
yep.
and in license, yes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you want me to put if possible? It's not always possible.
Right. So Mark,
Yes,
you had,
if possible.
Honestly, I think that, what you've put is correct. If you're just going to call in and say somebody came by me and they did something weird, I have no license number, what the hell are they going to do?
right.
Exactly.
Now, Mark, tell us about the instance you had. I'm sorry, I cut you off when I saw what was being typed.
Well, that's quite all right.
Well, just so you know, I'm a terrible typist, so that is why.
There was an incident right outside of Santa Rosa Highlands, and we have video cameras around our main gate. And the CHP called me to see if I could look at the system to see if we could identify the culprit who had sideswiped a lady in a car and took off. Unfortunately, I could not in any way identify the culprit. And so the CHP officer said, without a license number, there's nothing, no way they can trace him. So I think that's why it's important to put this in there.
I agree.
Do you want me to keep the if possible or take that out?
I'm going to say take that out.
Okay.
Because honestly, without a license number, there's nothing that can be done.
I think that, hi Linda here, I think that if they're finding at a certain time of day around 3 o'clock, they're seeing a lot of a particular type of behavior, they'll know when to go out there to look for it. So I don't think it's useless if you don't have a license plate.
The license plate is good if they send them out the letter that says, hey, you've been noticed, and it's not a ticket, but it's a warning. That's what they can do with the license number, but we very rarely get that.
So do we want to
Maybe-
put the back the if possible?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Well, what about like the make or color of car?
True.
None of that means anything without a license number, but I mean, I'm happy to put if possible.
Okay.
So do you want me to add it back in?
Yes, please.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem.
Comma, yeah. You know, I noticed in Santa Rosa Valley Voice, or next door, I'm not sure, somebody has, you know, shown pictures of another car that's been speeding. So,
Yeah.
you know, obviously they're seeing.
The Mustang kid that lives next door to me, they got a good picture of his car and his license plate.
Well,
I heard about that kid.
Yeah. The person stood in the middle of the street while the kid was just racing right towards him. I mean, that man has
Wow.
a lot of cojones, I think, you know, to do that, pull that off. But at any rate, with the license plate, they can mail a letter and say, you've been noticed big time, and stop it.
Okay. So you're good with number 5 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I have something on 7. We're rolling for there.
Okay.
It's just that, how quiet is your neighborhood? Could we, I know we can't ask them to put their address down, but could we ask them which neighborhood or maybe which street you live on? Because even neighborhoods have different areas.
Not quiet or nosy. I can put, I can do something, whoops. Something like that.
street name.
Oh, I
You
don't,
specify street name or?
Yeah.
yeah, that would work. That would be great.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between Priscilla and East Las Posas, for example. You know, it's the same track. We have totally different neighborhoods.
I think we need street name.
Yeah, that's great.
What's my street name?
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Number 8, when it says telephone, saying cell service or landline service?
I know.
I agree.
I'd rather
Those are
say
totally
cell
two-
service.
Okay.
That's more important.
Do we want to have 2 lines there, cell service and landline phone service?
I can do, whoops. So cell service and then do another one.
How about instead of cell service, put cellular service, because then there.
And then landline?
Landline telephone.
Okay.
All right.
Oops. Well, I'll format that later.
All right.
So that it's even.
I have a question about number 8. Why are we asking about street maintenance on private roads? We have absolutely no control over that. It's not the responsibility of the government. It's the responsibility of the private road owners.
I can take it out.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a thought about that?
Yeah. Did you
I
say
agree.
you want to take out public roads or?
No.
Private.
I want to
Private
take out
roads.
street maintenance, private roads. That's nothing to do with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did assist a neighborhood in Ventura Park and also in Somas to get their road paved by working with the community. The reason we put it in though is if we just put in street maintenance, we realized that there, like you said, certain things our government generally does not do, but it's an interesting question. But if we don't know where that street is also, we wouldn't really know what to do with it.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
My recommendation would be to take it out.
Okay.
I would agree.
Usually we hear from the neighbors if they have a private road and it's not maintained and they're upset about it.
That's their HOA problem or their road, whatever they call it, road association problem.
Their road maintenance agreement.
If they have,
Is Eric Peterson could chime in here with his.
Yeah, all the, you know, the whole of Yucca is a private road.
Yep. Yeah, we actually do have a road association for Yucca, but Rosita does not. So we all, as neighbors, had to get together and essentially, figure out how to get it maintained. So it's sometimes a challenge.
Yep. I know what it is for us as a private HOA with private roads.
So is a consensus remove?
I vote to remove.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Interestingly, I'm just going to say, in terms of what Mark wanted to say earlier, now we have comments on this, question
this one.
8. How do we not, we don't have questions, comments on question 3?
So I can do something like this up just
Sure.
plain
Why not?
comment. Okay.
Okay.
Was that another number or was it was just part of it? Okay.
That was part of number 8.
Yeah, so
And why doesn't number 3 get that? There you go. There you go. Now number 3 has become really important.
Yes.
1, 2, 4. Oh, okay, I'll do it in a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't Mark want that to read suggestions for solutions? I thought that's what he was asking for.
I won't speak for him, but this seems okay to me, but Mark, tell us what you want.
Well, I would say yes, a proposal for solutions, or just straight comments, and then they can say whatever they want to. It can go either way, depending on which one they're picking. But I was thinking that this would be an appropriate place to get proposals for correction that would be surfaced. Something that we support, something we've thought about, something we haven't thought about. More brains thinking about the same issues.
Well, instead of comments, do you want me to say suggestions?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be a nice one word.
What did I just do? Sorry. Okay.
Great.
So moving back to here, do you want me to keep that as comments or put suggestions
So
here?
why not?
Yeah, keep it.
Change,
The more feedback they can give us.
but change it to suggestions.
Oh, all right.
That's what
Yeah.
I was asking.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
So let me save as I'm going. All right.
Yeah, I wonder who put number 9 in there.
me, I hope.
Yeah.
The thought I had about this was, it's my understanding that the Watershed Protection District uses glyphosates. Is that correct?
Yes.
Why are we not talking about them? They're meant to be protecting our watershed.
I think it's a real good question. So let's throw that in there too.
Do you want me to just do Public Works Agency?
Do you? Yes.
Is that a public works agency? Yeah.
Then you want
But I
to,
think we should say along Santa Rosa Road and on Watershed Protection District easements.
That's a good point.
I know, because they come and spray that stuff right next to my organic farmland.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to ask about that farmland.
District.
I know.
Yeah.
That cover crop you have looks like weeds to me now, I think. Is it
I
weeds?
think this is not an appropriate time to discuss that.
Okay.
Okay.
But I would like it put on the agenda for next meeting.
There you go.
All right.
I'm sorry.
On number 10, I'd like to add our Santa Rosa Valley radio network.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
I thought that we had that on, but I thought we took it off because they dissolved.
It's
They're not
dissolved.
dissolved. We're still doing it every
Eric
week.
Peterson.
Yeah.
Eric is there.
Unmute Eric.
He can't.
Yes, we're still around. In fact, there was a article or something in one of the latest blurbs that a paper or something went out that we have the information in there as well. So it's kind of like the CERT team. It's kind of slow, but still there.
So that's
Yeah.
different than the ERN?
That's the same thing. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well, didn't,
Okay, but I got an email saying it was closed down. Which I forwarded, by the way, to our group.
Eric and I are still doing it every week.
The family radio service, we had not had anybody check in on the family radio service radios. So right now it's only ham radios. If there's further interest in that, we can certainly, turn that back on again and, have the general net for the FRS and GMRS radios as well.
All right. I'm gonna pass this over to Rosa and you to discuss whether this is something we want to have in this.
wait a minute.
Well, I'd like to add it, the Emergency Radio Network.
So hold on. We had this question.
We've lost your image.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not,
It's,
all gray now.
oh,
You
There.
got it back.
okay. So I had this question in before.
Yeah, I don't know. I was going on what I was told because I quit.
So it was this was the
Yes.
question.
Yes, yes, yes. I like that.
So I'll keep this in. It'll be
Please.
number
Sure.
11.
Let me ask you, are this questionnaire is anonymous or not?
It is unless they want to. They can put their contact information if they want to.
Okay.
It's not required.
Yeah, how will you know who
is there
it
a
is?
website? Well, anyway.
You could also, instead of having them put their contact information, we could tell them a link to go to for
Right.
more information. And we could put that on our Santa Rosa Valley webpage.
Right.
We don't really have a link though. I mean, we don't have a website.
We'll get going.
This is yours now, Rosemary. You touched it.
Okay.
So leave it. If they want, they can. If not, they can leave it blank. It's not required.
Okay.
Well, if we could offer them a contest prize, but they have to provide their name and contact if they want to win the prize, then maybe they'll put it in.
And the price could be a trip to a certain organic farmland area.
The biggest little farm.
Yes, you get to clean off the farmland.
With a weed whacker.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And just really quick, number 10 is good. You guys are good with number 10?
Yes, I am.
I mean, and number 9. We finished with that one too. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we'll keep 11, and now we're on to what will
And
be
you make that 12. Yes.
What happened?
13, 14.
On 12, I have
How
a
about-
couple more outdoor activities. One of them would be astronomy.
Okay.
Okay.
And I don't know about, my wife would like birding in there, but I don't know, or camping. I mean, because we're asking them what kind of outdoor things you like to do. If they say camping, that might be valuable information for our,
Well, the other thing is for our area, gardening.
How to,
Yes, I agree, 100%. And I like the birding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gardening.
The way I looked at that was, if you get a big hit on some of these, we should start a special interest group or sponsor it. Like the MAC could say, hey, let's, somebody step up and do a special interest group, and suddenly we have a subcommittee or something. I don't know.
Well, remember,
Well, I
for
think
they were talking about like a group, exchange for, fresh fruit or things from people's gardens. I love that idea.
So I
I
added,
also reached out to, guys, I reached out to the Audubon Society of Ventura County because the arroyo, because I'm kind of not a real bird watcher, but a novice one. And there are some amazing birds. So I'm getting them to come out to see what their thoughts are about all the different birds we have. So I'll keep you posted.
do you want me to add camping, Kevin?
I would like it.
Okay.
Where? In the park.
Anything else?
I'd like, you might want to add what Rosemary suggested. So some kind of vegetable exchange, farm exchange.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, even eggs. I mean, people were, basically, I just loved it.
so would it be farm exchange? Or what would we call it?
Hold on.
It
Farmer
have to be something like farm
market.
product exchange?
It's almost like a co-op in a way, right?
Yeah.
Food co-op.
Or a fresh produce co-op. Exchange.
Co-op or,
Co-op/exchange.
okay.
I think that works.
Okay.
And if I could chime in here, 13, to be consistent with earlier statements, if we just change 13 into a
Comment on 12.
suggestions question mark,
So it's not a 13 anymore, it's just,
so it's not a separate question, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Where did I do it over here? Sorry, I just need to look really fast. Just, okay, I didn't put a question mark. All right.
Perfect.
Okay.
Denise is earning her money today. This is her second too.
You mean she does? She earns her money every day.
Oh, yes.
I try. Okay. Oh, wait, what number are we on? So 12. Oh, so we're back to our
13. We're back on schedule.
back on schedule.
You know, it's never come up before, but I was wondering about number 14, if the county's ever considered putting in a Frisbee golf course.
I was thinking that one. Yes, I think we do have Frisbee golf. We definitely have a Frisbee golf course in other places. So that would be a good one to add too.
Maybe it got shot down because horses are afraid of Frisbee.
Is it, you said a Frisbee golf course?
Yes.
Okay. I think my husband plays that.
You don't want to put down
What does no further additions mean?
no further addition. Ooh,
It was the,
that was the Ruth Means option.
I think it means I like it just like it is. No, don't make any additional changes.
Right. But that's
Yeah.
fine.
Well,
I don't understand why that's there, honestly. I would get rid of no further additions.
Yeah, I don't think the county's going to
I think
let us
you
get away
probably
with
want to go Frisbee/disc, DISC.
Yes. That's it. It's really a disc.
okay.
Okay.
Wow, Linda, you are hip.
Okay, but I'd get rid of the no further additions.
Take that out.
I mean, really and truly,
Because they have the chance to write that in and
yeah,
other.
you got other specify. I think I agree.
Is there any,
I
There.
love this idea of a shuttle service.
so we're done with 14.
Yes.
We don't mention anywhere that it's an equestrian park. So
Well,
Do you want to have anything related to equestrian
Well, that's a good point.
or refer to it as the Santa Rosa Valley Regional Equestrian Park or whatever? It just, there's no equestrian word in there.
What's our
Right.
original title?
Maybe not everybody knows that. In addition to the existing equestrian facilities, please check the type of activities you would like to see added. Something like
Okay.
Yes, I like that.
Addition to the,
Existing equestrian facilities.
hold on.
that. Yeah.
In addition to the existing equestrian, please check the types that you would like to see added. Okay.
Perfect.
Isn't there a group use picnic area there already?
Did you guys, were there like the flying people, the people who fly the airplanes, or that's
We
not
don't-
with the,
Don't
course.
write that down.
That one.
okay, sorry,
Don't open that.
sorry.
There's individual picnic tables, but I don't know.
Isn't that a group use picnic area already?
You can say enhanced group picnic area.
Enhanced, right, okay.
Oh, yeah. Santa Maria style tri-tip barbecue thing.
And you don't need the word use, just, don't you think? Enhanced group picnic area,
Sure.
and maybe with an S, areas.
There is. Mhm. Great.
So 15.
We put COVID-19.
Sure.
There you go. Before COVID 20.
Oh, whoops.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Another one coming we don't know about?
21.
All right. For shopping, school, work, play, parks would not use it. Okay.
Okay.
Do we need to, in 15, do we need to talk about the price of it?
I think that's
It's not
so,
free, right? We're not suggesting it's free.
yeah, I don't think we are, though I have a free one in my, so maybe we'll leave that open to just see if anyone would use it. If you put free, maybe more people would check the box, that's for sure.
Well, all right,
I
let's.
think it'd be wonderful.
We'll leave it vague.
All right. On 16, I followed the link and it goes to the Ojai dark sky ordinance. Is that correct? I mean,
It should go to all of the, if you scroll down, it should give you, try it.
oh,
It should be all the documents.
okay. Maybe I didn't scroll down, but I want to make sure it was the Malibu's less restrictive, right?
No,
The Ojai, I don't know.
the Malibu wants it to be more restrictive. It would apply to existing right away.
Maybe I should go to the link. What?
It does, when you go to the link, it says Ojai Valley Dark Sky Overlay Zone.
And it doesn't have, if you keep scrolling down, does it, because it should, if I go there, it'll mess up what I'm sharing. So,
Existing outdoor lighting.
But we'll go ahead and work on that, okay? To
Yeah.
make sure that we point out at the top, you know, that there are 3 or 2 examples below.
Yeah.
Okay, and Malibu Yerba Buena, I guess.
Okay, great.
let me,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, see
Well,
if I do that, it'll mess up.
Right.
I'll look at that.
Yeah, it just brings up the PDF of the overlay zone for Ojai.
And it doesn't
Right.
show the SMMC? Okay, I'll have them fix it.
We'll fix it.
You know, it does give you a link to the habitat ordinance number 4537.
Okay.
We'll work on it, make sure it goes to the right place. We've got
Okay.
some,
All right.
Okay.
Are we at number 17?
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting. We asked before informally, and now we get a better response probably.
Yeah.
And we have an idea how much it costs too. That helps.
Right.
That helps.
Do we need to be really specific? It's the $20 to $30 a year per household on your property taxes?
I think that's important to put in there.
Okay.
That's the average, I think, across the county. Being that this is only one road, I would imagine it's probably closer to the $20.
Right. This was just a ballpark from.
But we'll see. It also might be that they want to have more vehicles, you know, to help with traffic control. So, but that's the average. I think it gives people a good idea of what they'll get over a year, every 2 weeks, right?
It's a good range.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to specify that it's $20 to $30 a year per household on your property taxes, on property
Okay,
taxes.
so you want to add on your property taxes, or you want to delete 20 to 30? I don't understand.
No, I want people to understand their property taxes or where this is going to come from.
Okay.
Just on property taxes.
Per household,
On.
that would be part of your Ventura County real estate tax bill.
Parcel tax?
Just, or property tax bill, or?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
household
property
on your
tax
property taxes bill. Yeah.
We got to fix the word part.
Yep.
Okay. I love that. I'm praying that we get that one.
Mm-hmm.
You Republicans said it.
Part of your property tax bill.
We're nonpartisan here.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, it's Amy. I'm gonna have to drop off for a bit. I am picking up my aunt.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Amy.
yeah, sorry guys. I'll try to get back on.
All
Thank you,
right.
Amy.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
guys. Thanks for all.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Would you
It is good to know that it may well be something that is supported by
Your per
every
household as part of.
point.
I'm sorry.
I was talking about the potential of people agreeing to pay 20 to whatever, $30 a year. It's good to know that it could be embraced by everybody. No, it doesn't matter what your party is, right?
Oh yeah. When we voted, yeah, that's
Would you like to provide on
when we voted for the traffic signals. It was everybody. Are we on 18 yet?
I think so.
I'm going to suggest that we say services, facilities, or quality of life in Santa Rosa Valley.
Oh, and quality of life. I
Or
like that.
quality, or quality of life.
I was thinking of if they have any comments regarding land use issues, and that would gauge them on if they want more development, if they want a Vons, or, I don't know, because that's mainly what we're doing, right? Is land use advising to the county.
I don't think we have any land that can be a Vons.
Well, no, I just threw that out as a joke, but what's gauge their level of pro-development, anti-development. Yeah, we're just assuming everybody's anti-development, but I don't think that's fair to assume.
Well, the only thing that I would love to be able to argue and put my 2 cents in about is the fact that almost every other area around us can have an ADU and we're restricted from it.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's involving land use. I think that planning commission stuff. I mean, I think that's where we sort of have to ask them if they have comments about.
All right, so is that another question?
Could be.
I sort of agree with you. I mean,
So wait, wouldn't that, go back up on this, wouldn't that be under where water was?
Oh.
Just another line?
oh,
There.
Sure.
Land is,
or up here. land
Three.
use.
Yeah, it's number 3, I think.
Okay, let's
Land
add
use.
it there.
But when you say land use issues, what does that mean to them?
The fact that you can't have a granny flat on your property.
What are those? Those are the ordinance, the codes.
Is it like one of the lines is on there is development?
Yeah, development. Sure.
You know, I don't think there's,
Land use.
I mean, honestly, I don't think there's an issue of development in our area.
Well,
Are you
maybe to
kidding?
some
I mean,
people,
that-
might want more development.
Well, and that Wildwood's going to resurrect its ugly head, and Amy's going to be all up in arms about it and everything, and all the neighbors. So,
Well,
right,
Wait, what are
Amy?
you talking about? Oh, Wildwood Preserve, right.
yeah, I mean, it's
Amy-
definitely an issue. Wildwood Preserve is what it is. It's an approved development, but I think that
their EIR is going to expire before they develop that, Mark. So they're going to go through that whole thing again.
well, so we get the trail back in. All right, but I think that your point is well made. That it's definitely an issue about what people think of as important to Santa Rosa Valley is either land use issues or development. Are those? I'm not quite sure that they're two different things.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say that again, Mark? That they're,
I'm going to say that you put land use issues / development.
Okay.
Like a separate,
okay.
like that. How does that seem to people?
Good. Good.
Okay,
Um,
that looks good.
Yeah, and before we leave it, Eric Peterson threw something in the chat saying
Oh,
now we can go down to the outdoor activities. He wanted to add 4-H.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because they use the park, or they would like to use the park.
Sure.
4-H.
Yeah.
Should I add any like 4-H activities or just 4-H?
That 4-H is good.
I think,
Okay.
And then, did you want me to do anything?
There's also Future Farmers of America.
We don't have one of those groups.
Okay, sorry, thought you did.
No. We just have 4-H.
4-H. Down here, did you want me to put something about the land use issues in this question too?
no. I
No,
think we
I
dealt
think
with
it's
it.
fine where it is.
Quality of life covers pretty much everything.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't know where these go, but I have 2 more things.
Sure.
One of them is, would you be willing to volunteer any time to further help improve Santa Rosa Valley given the opportunity? So surveying who wants to volunteer some time.
You know, that is a good one too. We don't anywhere mention that. Did you know that there's the Municipal Advisory Council, MAC, meets and talk a little bit about what you guys do? You also have the GRIT team too that they could volunteer for, right?
There.
Oh, so say that again, Kevin. How did you?
I just said, would you be willing to volunteer any of your time? And I'll pass through typing because I'm looking at mine. Of your time to further help improve Santa Rosa Valley, given the opportunity. Like we could come up with ideas and make a volunteer.
Well, there's a number of those. Number 1 is road cleanup.
Yeah, you could say ET, for example.
Number 2 is
Well, wait a minute.
grit. Number 3 is trail work. I'm sure there's something probably that can be done in the park as well.
Graffiti removal.
Do you want me to list them, or do you want me just to, or like?
I would just say, please provide your contact info, and then after that, when they do, you can tell them the different things that there's possible.
Sure.
Yeah, that's more straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I'm not sure we give them an alternative there.
I know, I wouldn't have put that. No, thank you. I don't
You want to
think.
take it out?
Yeah, take that out.
Yeah.
What does it mean? They can leave it blank.
Correct.
They-
And
All
then
right.
the last thing I have is, Rosemary, you may like this one, is should we ask them if they're having any trouble getting homeowners insurance?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes,
You talk-
I just got canceled.
But is that something the county can do anything about?
Thank you.
No.
I raised that question as well.
Yes.
And I know it's becoming a big problem from my neighborhood.
Yeah, well, I just got my non-renewal notice this week,
Wow.
Where you are?
which surprises me. I mean, I'm not near a ridge line.
No, you're not near open space.
I know.
And they're obviously,
Concerns about fire.
okay.
So a lot of people in Camelot have gotten canceled too.
Do we have that in the list of concerns at the top, fire?
I can put it there,
Yeah,
Oh, it should be.
fire/fire insurance.
but
Fire.
Fire safety.
Fire safety.
Fire safety, yeah, we've got that.
Okay. We do have it. Good.
Okay.
the insurance, I just wasn't sure if we wanted to give a false sense that the MAC can actually do anything about it.
You're right. We can't.
Okay, all right.
That is a problem, though.
But just as information, I don't know if you guys know Mike Krupka, but he's a longtime resident, and I reached out to him after the last meeting saying, hey, what's the deal? And he said people could call me. I can give you his number. If anybody wants, contact me and I can forward Mike's number. Okay.
What company is he with?
I think he's State Farm, but he lives in the valley. He knows our situation. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm State Farm. I just got renewed.
yeah,
I
maybe
didn't ask any questions either.
that State Farm is the one. I don't know. Well, what did he say exactly? I think he says he has a couple of options or something.
I just got canceled by Nationwide.
Wow, that's my insurance.
And not on your side, huh?
Are we done with the questionnaire?
I think we're done with the questionnaire. Are you
No.
done?
I have one other comment I'd like to make.
Hmm?
Thank you, Venice, for putting this together.
Sure.
Thank you, Supervisor Parks, for helping put it together. And I think it's going to be a great informational generation for us.
Sure.
You're welcome. So considering what we were going to do before, which was just limited to, if you see cars misbehaving, let us know. This will give us some direction for the next 4 years or two.
So when these come in, is there going to be like a database created from it?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like 90, each one will have however many people voted for that one.
Yes. I'll put my
That's a lot of
graduate school
work.
stats skills to work.
That's a lot of work.
So yeah, we'll come up. I don't know if you recall the Casa Caneo packet that I sent. It was pretty big. We'll do something like that. A nice big workup of everything that was presented, including all the comments. So.
Cool.
All right. Well, I will get this.
All right.
This is the final one, so I will get this to the printer.
Do we need to vote?
Sure. Yes, you do.
An action item. I make a proposal that we approve the Santa Rosa Valley Community Survey as adjusted tonight.
I second that.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Rosemary Allison,
Rosemary Allison, yes.
Mark Burley,
Yes.
Kevin Cannon,
Hi.
Mark Roddy.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I will stop the share. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Now to our Integrated Waste Management Division and EJ Harrison bulk item pickup.
Linda, do you want to do that one or?
Oh, you're doing so great. Go for it.
Okay. Well, we got an email from, a notification from the Integrated Waste Management Department. And as you know, all the CBEs were canceled for COVID, and they were not able to do them safely for the rest of this year. But they were able to partner with Simi Valley Landfill to provide those free landfill days. So now what they're doing in 2021 is they're going to partner with EJ Harrison, and they're going to offer customers an additional curbside pickup in 2021. So every single family household in the unincorporated area that has EJ Harrison as their provider will be eligible to have 3 bulky items collected free of charge at their curbsite, in addition to the 3 pickups that are already offered in the 2021 calendar year. So more information will be coming out in your December bill for January. So that's coming out. And if you have any questions, you can contact EJ Harrison. Their number is 805-647-1414.
So we're not going to have a community beautification event in May.
Not this year. Well, oh, you mean in May? Well, we'll see.
2021, it's usually in May.
2021, right. We'll see. I think right now nothing is in set in stone.
Okay.
But what they're doing is they're having these other partnerships to kind of pick up the slack for not having the CBEs.
We're hoping that we've got at least one wedding planned here in May, so.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Supervisor Parks, your comments, please.
Okay, let's see. First off, our Board of Supervisors is changing, and so that's big. And I know that we also had some elections here in Santa Rosa Valley, so that's congratulations to the winners. And I'm sorry Mark didn't make it to the up again, but I know that he'll continue to participate, and just so appreciate that he did toss his hat in the ring. This is actually the first time we've had elections, and Kevin and Rosemary, congratulations for ascending back into your seat again, and we'll have the swearing in January after the election results are all certified. We've got a close race going on in Thousand Oaks. I'm sure some of you have been watching. The difference between the second place person, Joe Price, and Kevin McNamee is 50 votes now. It started off about, I think it was 31 votes in the beginning, and it's climbed to 70 votes now, with Kevin McNamee looking like he has won.
I'm depressed. I love Joel Price.
He's a good guy, for sure. Also, we had the hemp ordinance went to the Planning Commission, and they approved it with the recommendation that it should be a half-mile buffer, that they shouldn't make any exceptions for greenhouses, that they should not allow for allowing close to any of the city boundaries when the city has prohibited it. So areas that have boundaries of cities that have prohibited the cultivation will be recognized by the unincorporated county also. We'll also make sure that we include county parks. That was not something that was considered in terms of having a buffer from parks. And so that will be also going to the some more meetings. Let's see, they'll be meeting with the agricultural commissioner and the planning director, county council in early December to look at how to protect areas affected by cannabis grows. And so we're more to come on that, but it has to be finalized again at the board supervisors. Transportation update. I mentioned before that we did apply for some funding to extend the bike lane all the way through Santa Rosa Valley to the city of Camarillo. And we're looking at seeing that we do a better job in showing where the bike lane is, and where right now there are also plans in place to change where the rumble strips are, I believe. So they'll be on the outside of the bike lane and be more of just a strip instead of the wide area.
On the edge line.
Yeah, on the edge line. So that will be safer for cyclists. and those reflective borders on the traffic signals. We did authorize the submitting of a grant, and I anticipate that we will be getting it. Clearing of weeds, yeah, that was the first time we found out that we weren't sure, but they do clear weeds along Santa Rosa Road generally, as we found out with glyphosate. And as far as the having operation and maintenance, typically clears the brush only if there's a potential impact to visibility, right? If there's a sight distance issue. So that's it for that. Also know that Michael Adams did also win the election. I don't think we've met him yet. I've got a meeting with him. He had a great website. I did see that. So he will be coming on in January. With that, I'm available for any questions.
The discussion you were having about the marijuana ordinance is separate from the
Measure
what
O.
we voted on.
Yeah, so there's hemp. and
Could you
that's
explain the difference between the two and
Yeah.
what's happened with the one that was voted on, please?
Yeah, so what I described was hemp,
Right.
and that was a law that we've been working on. And in the meantime, Measure O got passed, and that allows for marijuana to be grown in greenhouses that are already existing. It was put together by the folks that have Howling Nursery, which is some really big greenhouses, and they also have some good technology that they may be able to expand into other areas. So I described that measure already. There are certainly concerns with it. It has been approved. So I'm having a meeting second week of December with the directors of departments, several departments, to discuss how we can really preclude the impacts that I'm sure will come from it, and see how we can do it, whether we can make some changes in our own laws or whether we need to actually put a measure on the ballot. And some of that is, for example, there are some buffers. The buffers, I believe, are 1,200 feet, not a half mile, so they're a lot smaller. Doesn't include some uses. For example, the hemp one, you need to have a buffer from school, from colleges even. So that isn't the case with the marijuana one. So there are certain areas, but the main issue we have found is odor. And the things like greenhouse is not really defined. So trying to get a little bit more specificity. It doesn't require organic materials are used in the processing, and we don't want to end up with concerns about that. Lighting is another issue. There were no requirements regarding lighting. I would think if we had a lighting requirement that affected all greenhouses in the county, it would also affect the Measure O greenhouses. But the initial response from our county council was that we'd have to go to the ballot to make any changes. Our county council, by the way, has also retired. So we have an interim county council, Michael Walker.
Thank you.
And I imagine you all know the election results with Supervisor Bennett going on to the assembly. He's being replaced by Matt Levere from the city of Ventura City Council mayor. And Carmen Ramirez will be replacing John Zaragoza, who's going on to be the mayor of Oxnard.
I wanted to ask a clarification on something from transportation. So the minutes last time mentioned we were going to get this dynamic speed signs. We were going to get 2 of them, one eastbound and one westbound. I think I've only noticed one on the westbound, kind of in the middle near Blanchard, I think. But so is that a mistake? We were only going to get one the whole time, or?
You're actually supposed to get 4. So they're yeah, from my understanding from Dave Fleisch, but I think they're ordering them. So I'm not really sure what their timeline is for putting them in, but from what I remember.
We can check and see if the other 3 are coming and get back to you.
Because I've only seen the one over by
Patricia. Yeah,
I'm sorry?
it's by Patricia, right across the street
Right.
from Patricia.
Right,
Yeah.
I've only noticed that one, but you're supposed to have someone on both ends. So I'll check in with him and see what's the holdup.
Okay, and then Linda, can you advertise your Growing Grounds plant sales? I mean, I missed it because I'm in Palm Springs right now. Sorry, but doesn't Growing Grounds have some plant sales coming up?
Well, yes, they do. Let's see if I can find the dates for that. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we were happy to see that they found a way that they can do some limited retail. And I was out there on Halloween, and that was their first one. Let's see. I'll get back to you shortly. Oops.
You do have to make it. Now I
The
remember.
dates?
I made an appointment, so I have a 30-minute appointment to go buy some plants there. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Part of that is COVID. We want to make sure that we don't have large groups of people. So that helps ensure that.
Oh, did you want the dates of the Growing Works?
Oh, back by popular demand.
Yeah.
So dates left are November 28, December 13 and 14.
Right, yeah.
And it's nice because they have one of the largest selection of Santa Monica Mountain native plants. Really extensive variety of native plants, drought tolerant plants, and they're now doing wreaths also. So and other Christmas decorating, or even Thanksgiving probably decorating with succulents and such. So thank you for the plug. It all goes to help a nonprofit organization that provides horticultural therapy and job training for people with mental illness. And I think my website has a link to where you can get to the information on how to get a reservation. It's located over near Cal State University Channel Islands on Lewis Road.
Maybe Watershed could go over there and pick up some plants for the planting in the breed basin dam.
Yes, we'll have to make sure and let them know about that.
Oh, I have.
And the RC too, right?
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now let's go on to council comments on issues not on the agenda.
Well, I'll lead off then.
Mark?
Yes. Two things. First of all, we've talked about CERT training before, but I haven't seen anything published about when there's going to be training or asking for volunteers. I feel that there's something that we need to do there to regenerate, retrain, get some more involvement at Santa Rosa Valley in a critical element like CERT. So if I might put that forward, I think that's something that we need to move forward on in the very near future.
The training is offered by the Ventura County Fire Department.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, obviously, it's difficult with COVID. But at one point, we had enough people in Santa Rosa Valley who were interested in doing the classes. And I actually had paid for the school at that point who was willing to house some of our activities. And we were going to the Ventura County Fire Department, which is in Camarillo at the airport. So every so often I'll put in Nextdoor or Santa Rosa Valley Voice the information about, classes coming up. But the classes would be taken in Camarillo, not here.
Of course. Well, I think it's just something we should publish.
You can schedule them in a community, but you have to have so many people wanting to take them. So I think once the survey goes out and you get a lot of people saying yes, and we can contact them, perhaps there's something, mind you, after COVID, so much revolves around that.
I know, and with the emergency radio network, a few years ago, Mark, you were there, weren't you? I paid for someone to come to my house, and we had 18 people who actually did the amateur radio course and passed the test so that they could be ham radio operators. So, but a lot of those people have now moved. But Kevin, you were in the CERT classes, weren't you?
Kevin, you're muted.
You're muted.
Okay. Yeah, I was in that original class, and I just went to the Supervisor Parks has a link to Santa Rosa Valley MAC, and on that page, there's a link to a CERT web page. You go there, you'll see me holding a fire extinguisher, putting out some flames. So
Nice.
That was fun.
The second point that I would like to bring up that's not on the agenda is I would like to extend my congratulations to Rosemary and to Kevin and to Michael for your election. And following on with Supervisor Parks' comments, yes, I will still be participative, and I will hold all of you accountable. So you're now our elected officials, and you shall hear from us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know it was interesting having it be an election. I actually got a message from someone saying about this new leaf in my life I was going to be taking. I think if they think it's a paid position, and it's it's like, okay, I'm retiring from my job and I'm just doing this full time.
Well, I think Mr. Burley said it the best. He and I were having a conversation one day, and he says, you know, they pay us exactly what we're worth. So
Yeah, that's true.
That only applies to me.
Oh, well, believe me, everyone's contributions are very important and very valuable. And, you know, there's a saying about volunteers being priceless. And there isn't one person who has been involved with this MAC who isn't priceless. So we all thank everyone for being part of it.
You know, if I may interject here, I was just noticing, Kevin got me to go to the website, but we have put that flyer together about do you know MAC, and it talks about what the MAC does and all that. If there's room in the survey envelope, maybe we can put that in there too, so people will know how to contact and watch the MAC meetings.
Yeah,
important, very important.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes. I had sent some pictures and information to Venice regarding a homeowner who had sent me a message saying that he's had, you know, a horrible view from his property of land across. And I'm not sure who owns that land, if it's either the project, which is the Wildwood Ranch, or if it's Hassoon. But there's some pictures of definitely some dead trees, as well as an overturned outhouse, a deserted truck. I mean, it certainly isn't something that should be there. So Venice is going to follow up with code compliance. So I think that's important for us to keep on top of these things.
Yep, I'll send it. I'll do that tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, any other council comments on issues not on the agenda? Do we have any public speakers who would like to talk? Raise your hands because we can't hear you.
I think you can unmute. Oh, there you go.
There, Michael.
Hi, I just wanted to say hello to everybody, and I'm definitely looking forward to working with everyone, and appreciate the well wishes and welcoming comments. One thing I did want to mention as we were going through the questionnaire, it looks like a fantastic questionnaire, but I just want to kind of give everybody a heads up on question number 15, and that's the bus and shuttle service. There was a bill last year, SB 50, which allowed these single-family home zoning to be changed within a radius of a bus stop. So, and high-density housing could go in at that location of a bus stop. So just something to kind of keep in mind. And there is a follow-up bill as well, SB 902. I haven't read that one yet, but you know, it may have some sort of language regarding that as well. But the SB 50 was defeated last year, so you know we're in the clear on that. But just kind of want to give you the heads up that could be a risk factor of setting up some sort of bus service.
Thank you. I think if I recall, it also required something like a bus stop that gets service like every 15 minutes or even every half hour. And we know we'll never have that problem.
Never get that. Yeah.
Definitely
Okay.
to be cognizant about. I remember that. We were actually in good stead towards that because our bus service is so poor.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you and welcome, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Right.
Now, written communications.
I do not have any. Other than, unless you want to,
Oh,
it's not really a communication, but we have it here. It's really great. You're the Valley Vista neighbors.
that's right. The Mac is famous.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I did send her a little blurb about the survey coming out. So that should be in the next one to get everyone.
Could you scan it and send it to the Mac, the article?
Sure.
I have it already.
I think, do you guys,
I think we all get it.
Okay,
you all have it? Okay.
never
I
mind.
haven't seen Linda, so I haven't seen you, so I haven't.
Make sure Linda
Give it
gets
to you. In person, I mean. I'll send it and scan it.
I have 2 copies if you need one.
Okay.
It was here in the office. I haven't been in the office, so.
Okay. Future agenda items.
So did you want to follow up on the Santa Rosa Basin, Mark?
Yeah, let's put that on.
Okay.
Do we know when we're sending out the questionnaire, Linda?
We were looking at doing it in early December, is that right?
Yes.
And everyone return them by the beginning of February or something? Was it?
Well, we would have the results by February. So
Okay.
hopefully they'll be returning them throughout January. I'll be.
Well,
Yeah.
are we giving them a date on that to return them?
I believe at the bottom, let me look really fast. It says, no, we don't say when to turn them in, but we just say that the results would be
All
by
right.
February 1st.
I'm going to suggest we have a date.
Okay.
That's,
I can definitely do that. I can add a date. Do like January 31st? Well, no, it should have to be before then. I have to turn it into the printing, the GSA, by no later than November 24th. But since it's finished, I can turn it in tomorrow. Let me see what their turnaround time for printing and mailing. And then, I would think if we got it in, I don't know, what do you think? By early January, but because I'm going to need some time to tally it.
Is the 15th too late?
No, what I would do is then what I would free up on the survey that the results will be there by February 1st. I would free that up and just say, just leave it vague. You come, see the results
Early February.
in early February or in February.
February the 14th.
And I can say that Valentine's Day. I've been married long enough. We're not going to go anywhere. COVID. Do you want to do the January 31st to get their responses in?
I think I feel like the 15th is okay. What do other people think?
I say we will put a date in. We'll give people a good 3 or 4 weeks to turn it in. And we'll determine that based on how fast we can get it printed now.
Yeah,
So we definitely should have a date to return it from.
I agree.
And we have something in chat from Mr. Peterson.
He said, it was supposed to have a MAC meeting later in the afternoon. Appreciate the 6 p.m. meeting time. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna return it into them tomorrow, talk to them tomorrow and see what our turnaround time is, and then we'll base that for a return date and then a results date.
Right.
You may have heard that the governor's now doing a requirement for staying at home from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. going forward.
Yes, we just saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the Thanksgiving requirement. I have a lot of children. I don't know how you're supposed to tell some children they can't come over, but that's off the record.
Not anymore.
So Santa Rosa Basin project, any other future agenda items that we can think of? You can always email me. Okay.
I would like to ask one question. I'm not going to be around for the next meeting on the board there.
You are.
But in my research over the last few months, I've come across this concept of the community service area in Oak Park, which is a tax-based situation which generates funds that then the MAC can then use at their discretion.
Yes.
And I was wondering if maybe this is an agenda item that you would like to have discussed sometime in the future. And Rosemary's laughing, so obviously I'm well behind on.
Well, no,
We are aware of that.
yes, we're well aware of that. They actually have money that they can use. But originally when that community was developed with the budget and the fact that it was part of Oak Park. And it was part of their, we can add taxes, but 2/3 of the community has to vote to add the taxes to their tax bill in order to make a budget. So we have no funds and no budget.
I understand that.
Why don't you wait and see if they want to pay $20 a year for the road, and then you can find out how many people actually want to pay more money on their property taxes. Because
Understand that. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah,
I have a sneaking suspicion that people don't.
Mark, and understand, in order to put the traffic signals on Santa Rosa Road, we had to go to the individual homeowners. That was one of the largest endeavors. I mean, I don't know how many people, Mark, do you think we had going door to door? I mean, over 30.
A lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was so hard.
It was like of really strong significance to the whole valley.
Right.
All right.
So
What is?
I mean, and it passed quite substantially, as I recall, right?
Yes. Yes, in the 70s, 70%.
We're on the topic of paying for things involved with the MAC. Linda, how did the election?
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Venice. Tell me.
Well, the CEO's office is going to pay for it. So, yay.
Yay, the county executive office, the county
Yes.
will take care of it instead of my budget, so.
Right.
Go have lots of elections.
They confirmed
Thank
they
you.
will.
Thank you.
They will do it from their special account. So,
And thank you for us, it helped us to force the question up and got a good answer.
Great. Thank you.
Democracy is not free.
All right. Well, all right. I think then we are ready to adjourn.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
happy Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
happy
Oh,
holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Do we have our next date?
When's our next date?
Well, it would be January and hold on, let me get a calendar up. So it would be the 21st
Of
is
January?
the third Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So it'd be
Okay.
January 21st.
So 1/21/21.
There you go.
Great.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's an interesting
Okay. And
date.
again at 6 p.m.
6
Okay.
p.m. seems to be popular.
Yes. I think it's easier on people who want to join in for sure.
Yeah, just as long as we're all home by 10 p.m.
Yes.
I'll hurry up.
All right. Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank
night.
you. Have a good
Bye.
evening.
Good night.
Goodbye from Palm Springs. Goodbye.